Hello, softball fans, and welcome to the very first North Dakota Softball All-Stars podcast of calendar year 2019. Just a couple of months away from the first official practice date for North Dakota high school softball. That means colleges, many of them already underway, other college programs getting ready to start their preseasons very, very soon. That means we're going to talk about some of the former Shields Softball All-Stars that are now playing college softball. We're going to talk about some former North Dakotans that are playing college softball. And we have some kids on the move. We'll get to all that in today's program. We'll also talk about the 2019 Shields Softball All-Star Series, get you up to speed on where we're at with that, and make sure you know what we know. And that's going to be exciting getting into year 3 of the Shields Softball All-Star Series. But I want to start somewhere else. I want to start where the softball community and the softball family has really had their heads and hearts and prayers at the last 24 hours or so. And I am going to start by just reading right off of a GoFundMe page. Now, this is the family of Mandan head coach Ryan Jungling. Ryan's a great guy. I'm going to talk about that in a minute here. I believe he's been the head man at Mandan since they got that program going. Known Ryan for a while. And of course, anybody in our softball community, when you hear something like I'm about to read, it hits home. So again, I'm just going to read right off of a GoFundMe page that is linked to on our Facebook and Twitter accounts. Go to either of those social media channels and search NDSB All-Stars. So it's called Support the Jungling Family. On the morning of January 10th, 2019, Anders Jungling, he's just 11 months old, experienced cardiac and respiratory arrest. He was initially taken by EMT to St. Alexius in Bismarck, where his heart began beating after prolonged CPR. He was then airlifted to Sanford in Fargo, where he continues to receive intensive care. Prayers, of course, are greatly appreciated. We are raising money for the Junglings to support their family and help with their accruing medical costs for Anders' care. Please consider supporting them during this difficult time. Now, again, this is linked. You can go look at this closer if you go to our social media channels on Facebook and Twitter. Just search NDSB All-Stars. So here's what's just awfully amazing. As I record this podcast, it's about 9 o'clock p.m. on January 12th, and the GoFundMe page has just been open for 24 hours, and the dollars that have come in are about to surpass $20,000. That's a credit to our state, certainly the community, the friends and family of the Junglings, but our softball community as well. I want to take a moment to just talk about Coach Ryan and what he's meant to North Dakota Softball All-Stars. Certainly a behind-the-scenes thing that most people probably wouldn't know, but when we got this thing going for year number 1, we really were committed to playing on both sides of the state, much like some of the other all-star competition series like you have with basketball and with volleyball. And we didn't know where to start. And we talked to a lot of people, looked at a lot of different places. The state tournament for Class A was held in Mandan that year, and I simply reached out to Coach Jungling and said, hey, well, what about playing it at your place? And he accepted us with open arms. He went in front of people on behalf of North Dakota Softball All-Stars to make sure that this was doable. And of course it was, because we played there in year 1. And in fact, the first ever game was played there. We started out in Mandan. The time he put into helping us find umpires, getting the field ready. And get this, both days we've played out there have been his anniversary. Him and his wife celebrating their anniversary. And I don't know if he attended either of the games, but I know he put a lot of time in those days and days leading up to that to make sure that the field in Mandan was ready to go for the Shields Softball All-Star Series. And for that, we are truly appreciative, but I wanted to highlight that because I think it shows what kind of person Coach Jungling is. And he's certainly the kind of person that would help if he were on the other side of this. So please consider supporting the Jungling family. They are part of our softball family. They are part of our North Dakota family. Again, one more time, you can find links to that GoFundMe page on both our Facebook and Twitter account. You can go on either platform and search NDSB All-Stars. So that is the most important thing. That is primary piece number one. And it's difficult to transition from that into some softball stuff. So we'll just do our best here. I want to start with MSU, as in Mayville State softball. You know, we had Coach Ashley on podcast number 2 or 3 or something like that when we got this going last year. And I think it's just coincidental that we're going to talk about their program for quite a bit here, but there's some relevant stuff going on at Mayville State. First of all, it's congratulations to West Fargo's Courtney Bohl. She has signed on to be a Comet when she graduates from West Fargo High School. Courtney is a strong pitcher for the West Fargo program. A great pitcher at MSU Comet SB. Check that, MSU Comets SB on Twitter. Her and Coach Ashley is doing the signing thing. Always cool to see that. And Mayville isn't just one destination of North Dakota girls. There's, in fact, quite a few. One of those would be Laura Spurgeon. Played her high school ball at Hillsborough Central Valley. She'll continue her college career, or I should say her softball career in college, playing for Mayville State University, the freshman at Mayville State, out of Buxton, North Dakota. There's a few other North Dakotans that make up this Mayville State roster this year. Out of Horace, North Dakota, West Fargo Cheyenne grad, Sadie Matthews. She'll be wearing jersey number 5 for Mayville State this year. From Wilton, part of the Wilton Wing program, Haley Beckler. She will be wearing jersey number 11. And then Taylor Stegman from Grafton, North Dakota will wear jersey number 16 this year for Mayville State University. And to back up just a minute, Laura Spurgeon will don jersey number 25. So we've got a lot going on outside of Mayville State as well in terms of kids who have been part of the North Dakota Softball All-Star family, the Shields Softball All-Stars alums, if you will, and a couple of alums are on the move. And I guess we can start with the 2017 list, believing that we are at least relatively up to date on this. And of course, if we aren't, we'd be happy for you to reach out on our social media channels so we can be as accurate as possible. But Sammy Trana, she played, these are girls who played in the 2017 Shields Softball All-Star Series that are now playing college ball. So Sammy Trana in year number 2 at Bemidji State University. She is out of Fargo North. Taylor Erholtz played at Shanley. She's at Concordia. Jada Haugen's at Concordia. She's out of Valley City. I guess we have a theme here. Another Cobber from Minot, Riley Ehrman. Morgan Geisler is in year number 2 at the University of Jamestown. She's a grad of West Fargo Cheyenne. Maddie Foss has been doing a number of things at Lake Region State College. Caitlin Stewart, also at Lake Region State College. And Reagan Jastrom, a 2017 grad of Cheyenne. She'll be in year number 2 at St. Cloud Technical and Community College. I want to talk for a minute about Mariah Wick. Now, Mariah Wick went down to Florida, played college ball last year, got a lot of opportunities. They say that speed doesn't slump, and she certainly doesn't lack in the speed department, but she's coming on back home. She is on the University of Jamestown's roster for the 2019 softball season, so a really good get, if you will, there for the University of Jamestown. Now to take a look at 2018 grads that we have been informed, and again, if the list is inaccurate or there's something we need to update, we'd like to hear from you. But I can tell you, Jordy McNeely, the player of the year last year in North Dakota, is at Minnesota State University of Moorhead. She's out of Dickinson. Shea Weber is also at MSUM. She is out of Cheyenne. Now, I know Felicity Blair at one point committed to Dickinson State University. I've not seen an updated roster for Dickinson State. Teresa Klintert going to play softball in the MIAC, and she'll be our first MIAC non-Cobber, as she is at Hamlin. Teresa Klinner, outstanding player, the Class B player of the year last year out of Kindred Richland. And if there was an MVP of the Shields Softball All-Star Series, it may have well just been her last year. Allison Martinson from Grafton, continuing her softball career at the University of Minnesota Crookston. Madison Kostelecki out of Bismarck Century. She's at Concordia. Now, again, the theme continues with the Cobbers. And we already mentioned Laura Spurgeon. So now, going to change gears to the one member of the 2018 alumni class, if you will, that's still playing ball that we haven't talked about. Now it'd be Madison Sweep. Now, we had Maddie on a couple of months ago on our podcast when she was down in Kansas at Dodge City Community College. While she's a little bit closer to home now, she'll play this spring as a freshman with NDSCS, so North Dakota State College of Science out of Wahpeton. Madison Sweep, a very, very good player out of Central Cass. And in fact, let's recount part of that podcast interview with Maddie Sweep from earlier in 2018. And let's go through a quick hit set of questions and get to know Maddie a little bit better.
All right, here we go. Your favorite type of music is?
Country.
Okay, who's your favorite singer or band?
Thomas Rhett.
Good answer. Pizza. Your favorite toppings on a pizza are?
Pepperoni.
Your favorite season of the year, spring, winter, summer, fall?
Fall.
All right, favorite cereal?
Captain Crunch.
Favorite subject or class in school?
Biology.
Favorite movie?
The Lion King.
Good one. Didn't expect that. Favorite TV show?
Grey's Anatomy.
Good.
Definitely.
Good answer. Favorite sport to play other than softball?
Volleyball.
So we didn't really talk about this much, but you spent some time in Kansas since you graduated high school. What's your favorite thing about the state of Kansas?
It's not much different than North Dakota. So, it's a lot warmer longer, so that's kind of nice.
That's a great answer. Jealous of that one. Okay, last one for you, and it's totally not fair. But what's your favorite high school softball memory?
Definitely winning the state championship with my sister my freshman year.
That's Maddie Sweep right there, telling us some quick hits about herself and doing it in a little bit of a hurried fashion. It's always fun to do that with the high school kids too, because some of those questions they just snap and know the answer, and sometimes you kind of stump them a little bit. So speaking of information and just like where you can go to find all this, you'll probably notice there's not much in the way of updates right now on our current website, and that's because we are in fact working on a transition to a new website, a new format. Gives us a lot more that we can give you. So that's being worked on behind the scenes, hoping to release that, or we will release that prior to the start of the high school softball season. That begins March the 18th. That's the first day that high schools can get together and have a formal practice. Got to do that for at least 9 different days, get the 9 practices in, and then the kids can get out and start the season. It's only 11 weeks here in the state of North Dakota, so it gets going and it happens really fast. A reminder that you're defending state champions in Class B, Central Cass. We just heard from Madison Sweep there a little bit ago. And in Class A, it was Minot. For the very first time, somebody not named West Fargo will be the defending state champions as we enter the 2019 season. So then the 2019 season wraps up with state tournaments in Minot for Class A and on the campus of NDSU at their brand new facility for Class B. That's at the very beginning of June, and the Monday and Tuesday following will be once again the Shields Softball All-Star Series. A tremendous thank you to Steve Shield Jr. and Trevor Klein. Those two have been instrumental in making sure that this Shields and North Dakota Softball All-Star Series partnership just worked, and it has, and it's been fantastic, and we're excited to continue to grow what we've already done. Now, we will play the Monday after the state tournament once again in Fargo, and we'll head back out west on Tuesday. Now, there's a lot more information to come as we get a little closer to the start of the high school season, in terms of fields, where exactly we're playing, the timeline, the structure of this whole thing. There've been a few changes. The coaches are going to have an opportunity to, every single coach will have an opportunity to not only nominate but to vote in players for the 2019 Shield Softball All-Star Series, which I think is great. And we can get all these coaches involved and continue to grow the game of fast pitch softball in North Dakota. And one other thing that is set and ready to go for 2019 that I am extremely excited about is we will have guest speaker Beth Houle. She's the sports director at Valley News Live. She is going to speak to our All-Stars as part of the 2019 Shield Softball All-Stars festivities. Super, super excited about that. So again, we're about 2 months away from the start of the high school softball season. It's hard to believe. And we have been efforting, I just got to tell you, things have been busy, but we've been efforting with a lot of different people, from players, coaches, to instructors, trying to get more people on the podcast. And sometimes it's just a timing thing. So we will have more guests here in the near future. So that's it for this edition of the North Dakota Softball All-Stars podcast. But I do think it's appropriate to just end where we started, and would love for you to go to our social media channels, which are about to get ramped up in terms of activity because we're getting so close to the season. But I would love for you to go to NDSB All-Star, search for that on Facebook and on Twitter, find the GoFundMe link, read this short story about the Jungling family, and support one of our very own. And I just refreshed the page, and this is incredible. The number has now gone over $20,000 in just about 24 hours. So appreciative of everybody who's been part of the softball community that is supporting the Junglings in this very difficult time. So once again, my name's Tim Howe. I'm the president of the North Dakota Softball All-Stars, and I am the studio host of the North Dakota Softball All-Stars podcast. That's a wrap on episode number 1 of 2019.